Back at you with another week of Fly Free Sports. We back in the building, man, for the finals review. We might well say review because it's looking like it's curtains.
It's almost over.
But we'll just say update.
Yep.
Um, but first and foremost, I would like to start off. First of all, what's up, Ben? What's going on, man?
I'm good, man. Getting over a cold, so I'll be muting in between, but I'm still rolling, man. We're gonna do it.
Never missing a beat.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
I had that song in my head all day. I don't even know why. I ain't heard it or nothing.
Hey man, it just be like that sometimes.
But yeah, first and foremost, on a kind of a down note, but a celebratory note, the legendary Jerry West passed away a couple days ago. One of the all-time great players of the NBA. As everybody knows, the logo. He's the silhouette. You know what I mean? Like I said, legendary career, man. Shout out to the late great Jerry West, gone but never forgotten. Left his mark on the game. I know Ben has some thoughts on that too and some things to say, so I'll send it over to him, man.
Yeah. I have kind of some dark humor. I'm not going to introduce now. That I'll set that up a little bit later. But if you're a fan of Steph Curry, if you like that style of play, just kind of freewheeling offense, just
Mhm.
explosive, can pull up from anywhere. If you like that style of play, you need to thank Jerry West because he pretty much invented that kind of just green light, shoot the lights out. He
Mhm.
was the first one to really play basketball like that. Um, Jerry West was regularly shooting 35 and 40 footers before there was a three-point line. I would argue that he had the single greatest argument or is the single greatest reason why they introduced a three-point line. Now we know they did it in the ABA as an
Mhm.
experiment, but you will not be able to convince me that Jerry West did not influence that in some way, just based on how he played.
Mhm.
He's just, he's the logo. He is everything that you think of when you think about NBA basketball, how the game's supposed to be played. Jerry West is one of those people that you think about. And he was one of those players that kind of bridge and more or less ushered the NBA into its modern era.
Mhm.
You think about how he played right around I think maybe he retired or towards the end of his career is when the merger happened. And
Mhm.
that's when I consider it to be like modern NBA really started in the mid 70s with the merger.
Mhm.
Jerry was one of those players that kind of ushered us into that next era of basketball.
Correct.
And he's definitely going to be missed, a great ambassador of the sport. He's one of those guys that's instantly recognizable. It's like, okay, that's an old
Mhm.
dude. Oh, that's Jerry West. That's the logo. So just rest in peace to Jerry. Condolences to his family. A great legend that's going on, and we'll miss him.
Absolutely, man. Well said. Well said. Yeah, I concur with everything you said. Great executive too as well. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yep.
For everybody who didn't know, um, championships in that field too. You know, he got one as a player, obviously, but he was a very, very successful executive in the NBA. So we don't want to let that go unnoticed as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Rest in power, Jerry West. Um, on another note, the finals. This is crazy, man, because um, it's gone the way I thought it would go, but just not as easy as I thought it would go. If that makes sense.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Like the matchup problems I expected to happen with these two teams, it's playing out. Now, what I didn't expect is Dallas just getting completely blanked in the series. Like I
Hmm.
didn't see that coming. I'd be a liar if I said I did. I obviously picked them in 7. I can't hide. I picked Boston in 7 on the
Yep.
show last week. So and that looks like I can't even take credit for the win now. It's like I'm completely wrong. Even though I picked them, I feel like I'm still wrong. So Dallas
Mm.
just overmatched, man. It kind of played out, like I said, with the versatility of the guards for Boston defensively. That's playing out. I believe you mentioned Derek White as playing out of his mind. He's still doing those things, those intangible things that don't show up on the box score. It's just too much, man. It's too much. Jaylen Brown hitting big shot after big shot. We even got a Jason Tatum sighting yesterday for the
Yeah.
first time. It seems like offensively.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Now everything is rolling. You know what I mean? Kristaps Porzingis is back out, but it doesn't even seem to matter because Boston is just in one of those grooves.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday making a lot of big plays. There's been a lot of contributions from a lot of different guys. My boy Xavier Tillman, my former Memphis guy. You know what I mean? He over there making plays last night, hit a 3-ball, got a block. I mean, everybody putting in work on Boston. So they're just having their way, basically. So yeah,
Yep.
man. How you feel about what's been going on?
Neither of us expected this. I don't think that anyone thought that things would go the way that they've gone. I obviously picked Dallas in 6. So if you are completely wrong, I don't even know the word to describe how wrong I am. But yeah, I wasn't surprised when Boston went up 2-0 at home. It's like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do in the finals.
Right.
You're the best team in the league. You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to, hold serve at home. I thought that we would get a really inspired performance from the Mavericks going back home for game 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get that.
No.
We got an inspired performance from Kyrie. He was able to shake off whatever issues he was having in Boston and was able to really get his game on track. But I think what's happening now is I'm wondering if Dallas is fool's gold at this point. And I have to point the finger at myself first because I'm the one that's been talking on this show about how it seems like this is a year of destiny for Dallas. How the unity has been there. That Kyrie's is more mature, his approach, his mentality. The team seems to have a special bond. Luka and Kyrie seem to be really getting along well. And while I don't think that necessarily the chemistry between the players has changed, um, the pressure of the series has clearly gotten to these players.
Mm-hmm.
We saw something. First of all, Luca bitching at the refs. That's you
Mm.
made that comment on Facebook.
I was gonna get into that too. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I'll let you handle that part. So one thing that I'll say, two things, and I'll pass it back. Firstly, what I started to see, especially towards the end of that game, is Kyrie. He correctly recognized that he needed to put the team on his back. Unfortunately, he decided to kind of try to hero ball
Mm-hmm.
the into a win. That one of the last sequences, you're down under a minute, you're down 4, it's like 1 minute left. You don't have to take a contested
Mm.
28 footer in that situation.
Tough
You gotta
shot.
you gotta manufacture a quick, easy basket, get back on defense, try to get a 2-for-1 situation, right? Get a big
Mhm.
stop, you get a quick shot, quick stop, big shot, tie the game or take the lead.
Right.
And he just the shot selection, which is now that old Kyrie, right? He's pulling kind of those old cards back out. So that
Mhm.
that that bothers me a great deal seeing that. And then the other thing, I read a stat. Kyrie has lost his last 13 games against the Celtics. Like, bro, like you got that juju on you, bro. Like, they literally have your number. I don't know what to say. And it's really wild to think that not too long ago, Kyrie was wearing a Boston jersey.
Mhm.
It's wild when you think about it because it's almost like we dreamt that, like that didn't actually happen. But
Right.
he really did play in the city alongside some of these players not
Yep.
that
Tatum,
long
Brown,
ago.
all of them still there.
So it's really odd to see that. Um, so yeah, we'll probably, I don't know if we're gonna do predictions later. I'll save that as well. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts overall in terms of what's happening in the series.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy stat. 0-13 the last 13 games. That's almost like the Chris Paul when Scott Foster is the ref. He hasn't won a game in like some absurd amount of time. Like that shit is like you almost wonder how do these things even happen. Like that's a lot of games. It's a big sample size.
Yeah,
So it's that lets you know it's not no fluke, Larry. There's something to that.
yeah, something
Um,
to it.
yeah, and you mentioned Luca. I'm really becoming like I don't want to say a Luca hater, but like it's just so it's getting out of hand, man. The complaining to the refs every time. Like I don't care if he make the shot or miss the shot. If he make the shot, he want to and one on every shot. Like if he miss, he putting his hands up. And last night, they spotted him cussing at the bench, tell him to challenge the last play where he fouled out with 4 minutes and some
Yep.
change left. It's like, bro, you fouled him. Clearly, you fouled him. You had no business even being in that position, knowing you had 5 fouls in the first place. And then you cuss at the bench saying, "Oh, you better fucking challenge it." Like you're done. Like they can't save you. You fouled. It's just I'm just like I don't know, man. I haven't been like the biggest fan of his game in the first place. Like I don't really like it's not aesthetically pleasing to me, his game. It's just slow and lumbering but it's very effective. I won't take nothing from him. Phenomenal talent, damn near impossible to guard, impossible to stop. I get all that. But his play style never really appealed to me anyway in the first place. And then you add in the crying to the refs every play, every time down the court. It's just like, man, it just gets old. Like, I get tired of watching it. So he's slowly climbing up my list of niggas. Like he gonna be on that Embiid, Tatum, Dylan Brooks. He getting there. Like
Yeah.
he gonna have to chill. But yeah, I'm just tired of seeing that, man. I'm tired of seeing it. And as far as the series goes, I think it's been a little bit of mixture of both. I know you said you're starting to think Dallas may be fool's gold.
Hmm.
I felt like that coming into the finals.
Hmm.
I did feel like that a little bit coming into the finals, just because guys like Derrick Jones Jr. and Hardy, like guys that are not known to be producing at high levels on this type of stage, are contributing the way they were.
Hmm.
Now that we're in the finals, that seems to have gone away. Like these guys couldn't miss the same shots they're hitting this series. They couldn't miss those against OKC. They
Hmm.
couldn't miss those against Minnesota. So it's like it looks like the clock just ran out on the role players. That's what it
Hmm.
feels like to me. Um
Yeah.
Gafford hasn't been nearly as effective. Lively, he's had his moments, but overall, just the role players just haven't been rolling, man. Like
Yeah.
that's just my synopsis of it. And like I said, Boston is just overmatched them personnel wise. I don't think this series
Hmm.
is even close. And I said that going in. So
Yeah.
that's mainly how I feel about it.
Yeah. The reality is that defense still wins championships in every sport.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas in this series has been a first half team. They come out guns blazing, explosive,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the second half, they just collapse. Third quarter, they just collapse. Now they did have a valiant comeback at the end of the third, going into the fourth in
They
this
did.
game.
They did.
Um, I really credit that more to Boston having its typical lapse,
Mm-hmm.
because they do definitely go through lapses where they just forget how to play basketball.
They do.
Um, they've this whole giving up leads. That's something that's a consistent thing, and that's really I think the reason why both of our picks were the way they were is because both of us were concerned about how inconsistent, specifically Jason Tatum, his play is.
Right.
And that's we have been correct about his inconsistency in this series.
Yep.
The problem is the I'm sorry, Boston's defense has been extremely consistent in
Yes.
this series. Now, 20-point lead notwithstanding, they still got the job done in the clutch and they were able to get big stops down the stretch and hit big shots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dallas was unable to do that. And that's a bit uncharacteristic is seeing Dallas unable to really get the big shots down the stretch. That is something that they seem to have been able to do in this series. But clearly, Boston, first of all, you foul Luca out. clearly Boston has solved a piece of the puzzle when it comes to Luca and being able to get him in that position, right?
Hmm.
So clearly, and Joe Mazzulla, again, unsung hero of this series, and just how he's prepared the team, how he's doing the rotations. Tatum's playing a lot of minutes. I was looking at the box scores. I think Tatum's averaging 43 minutes in this series.
That's insane.
Um, he's playing a lot of minutes, but I think what I hope that Tatum takes away from this series is he does not have to be the best player on the court for Boston to win, right?
Hmm.
He doesn't have to take the final shot. He doesn't have to be Michael Jordan. He just needs to not turn the ball over and continue to play solid defense.
Yep.
That's it. And I get that for someone, a player of his caliber, he doesn't want to just be great on defense and responsible on offense. I
Hmm.
completely understand that. But I'm hoping that what he learns is that the team has won really in spite of his greatness and not
Hmm.
necessarily because of it. But if you just don't turn the ball over and play solid on defense,
Right.
you've got a system around you and pieces around you that's gonna, coast you right to that trophy.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Yeah.
pretty much that's all they need him for, and to steady the tide. When things get a little rough, hit a big shot here and there. Um,
Yep.
I think Derek White in particular he's the guy that tilts the scales, man. It's
Hmm.
like there's no answer for a guy like that. He's a classic 3 and D guy. Like
Yep.
it seems like he hits the most big shots when they need him.
Hmm.
And more than likely, if he's open, he's hitting it. I can't even count how many times he's been at the rim contesting shots and getting blocks at the rims. Like, damn, dude is everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of
He's
the
played
guys you
fantastic.
least expected. Like, it's crazy. Him and Drew Holiday. It's like those guys together in that lineup that is devastating for an offensive team like Dallas. And I knew that. I
Hmm.
knew this was a big matchup problem going in. If any other team in the West would have went, they would have had a better shot. Mainly Denver. If Denver played Boston, that's a real series.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Because we all know styles make fights. I think Denver matches up very, very well with a team like Boston.
Yeah. This series has all been about post presence, which is odd to say, in an era where teams are taking 33s a game.
Hmm.
You still have to have post presence, right? Because you know the three won't always be open, and you're gonna have to be able to have an alternative means of gaining an advantage when the threes aren't going down or if they're not there to be taken. And Dallas has shown such a complete lack of post presence, and that's really been the difference, in my opinion, in the series is that you know the 3-point shooting is just not enough. You've got to be able to get big blocks and turnovers in the paint down the stretch.
Hmm.
And Derek White has really been the
Man,
catalyst for being able to generate a lot of those turnovers. So yeah. The other thing I wanted to say, with Jalen Brown, um, he's I hope that he gets Finals MVP.
he should.
I think he's clearly the most deserving player. In my opinion, he's really kind of been in Tatum's shadow his entire career. Um, and a lot of people have kind of said, well, they need to split these guys up. They can't play together. They don't have good chemistry.
Hmm.
But I think that they figured something out. Um, and I'm happy that someone like that. I'm happy that he's going to get a chance to lift up a trophy. Just a guy that's played the right way. He's not a problem character at all. He doesn't have a
Hmm.
huge ego. Um, and then we learned all the stuff about him recently, like he's
Hmm.
like lectured at Harvard and interned at NASA. Like, what the hell? Like, listen, I know smart, okay? That I'm a nerd. That's my lane. This dude's a super nerd, okay? Like I know a nerd when I see one. And apparently he just broke up with his ex-girlfriend who's a grandmother. Like
What?
she's apparently Instagram model that her daughter, she's got like a 3-year-old or 6-year-old granddaughter or some shit. I don't know. I mean, she bad now. The girl's fine, but
Yeah.
not you ain't dating a baby mama. You dating a baby grandpa.
Oh, he was dating Bernice Burgos.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
her
did.
daughter
I
just
did
had a
hear that.
baby.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that's crazy. They
Yeah,
broke up.
yeah. That's what I hear is that they broke up. Which
Damn.
I mean, you dodging the bullet there, brother. Like, God
During
damn,
the
baby grandma.
finals.
Let me check. I don't know how recent the
I'm about
breakup
to say,
is
damn.
because I'm getting this information second from a fairly reliable source, albeit secondhand.
I said you got to be cold to leave a nigga during the finals. Damn, you ain't gonna let him celebrate.
Let's see.
That's insane.
Maybe they're still together. Let me see.
They
They
yeah,
might still
boss.
be together. Let me see.
I hope that's kind of crazy. That's some wild timing right there. She
Yeah,
broke
this
up with this nigga in the
so
final.
I stand corrected. It appears that they're still together. I haven't seen anything confirming that they broke up, but
Uh,
said they've been rumored to be together. But yep, she's 42. Her oldest daughter is 28.
damn, ain't Jalen? How old is Jalen Brown?
Yeah, not 28.
He ain't 28 yet.
Let me see. Let me
He
see.
should be right around there, like 27.
That's wild when you dating a woman or daughter the same age as you. That's wild, bro.
First of all, why is her daughter 28 and she 42? Like that right there is crazy.
This is what our grandmamas would call fast. That girl's fast. Yeah, he's 27. So he's dating a
Crazy. Her
woman whose
daughter,
daughter is older than him.
damn.
And her daughter, trying to get back to the article. I think they said the daughter had a baby in 2015. So the granddaughter is like my daughter's age, like 9 or something. Like, dude,
Sheesh.
that's wild. That is wild, bro. And she bad. Like the Bernice is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, she is.
I can't take nothing away from her, but bro, like it's a lot of women that look like that that's
Right.
23 with no kids. Like,
Yeah, he doing a lot. I mean, maybe he really love her though. Like I can't. It's hard to say what people's reasons are for what they do, but
well,
maybe he really love her, man.
I don't know.
Shout out to Jalen Brown. Hopefully he get the Finals MVP, man. I think he deserves it for real.
Yeah, sorry about the sidetrack with the
Nah,
misinformation about his relationship.
it's all good.
Anyway, yeah, but go.
But I think that's what they figured out. I think they got Drew Holiday. I think that's what they figured out. Like that's a lot of impact at the smaller positions, man. Like Drew Holiday does a lot, and whether he getting a loose ball, a rebound, he's shutting a nigga down. Like he does a lot. Like I said, when you have him and Derek White in the same lineup, that's havoc. Because not only are those guys great defenders, they hit shots too.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's real tough, man. Like when you actually sit back and look at their roster and how well they play with each other, it's crazy. Pause.
You
it,
be
it,
catching pauses I don't even hear, so
it, it, it didn't feel right.
it's all right.
I felt it,
It's all right, man.
can't let nothing slip around these niggas.
Yeah, I get it, man. I trust me, I understand. Every time I walk in the nail shop and get a pedicure, I understand.
Oh man,
like y'all just don't understand. And pretty young girls rubbing on your feet in that water, man. Like, don't knock it till you try it, brother. Don't
oh
knock
no,
it
I'm with it. I ain't been in a long time. I might only did that like one time, but
yeah.
I'm not opposed, man. I need
Especially
more
if you work on your feet, man. Yeah, that's a good thing to give your feet a break every now and then.
for sure, for sure. Um, yep. I think and another thing with Dallas, I see a lot of people blaming Jason Kidd. He seems to always be the scapegoat when shit goes wrong, but he don't get no credit when they win. Like they've been going crazy these whole playoffs. You ain't heard nothing about Jason Kidd. It's been all about Luka, Kyrie, and everybody else on the roster. Nobody has given Jason Kidd credit. But as soon as they start losing and getting their ass whooped, oh, what the hell is Jason Kidd doing? Like, what do you mean? Like he got him there, like, and
Right.
then I don't know, man. It's just wild. I find that crazy. They always need a scapegoat. It's never the players when they fucking up, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Jason
crazy.
Kidd,
Because go ahead.
Jason Kidd wasn't the one that fouled Luca out. Luca did that. Luca
Yeah,
playing
that's
reckless, like
that's my. I like. Are y'all watching these games? Like, do you know who Luka Doncic is? Do you really think that if Jason Kidd's calling a play and Luka doesn't like that play, that he's gonna
right
do the play that Jason? No, Luka is gonna do Luka. Like that. I don't
every
think y'all
time.
understand. Like,
That offense runs itself. Luca
like,
runs the offense.
like that's like Jason Kidd is basically HR on that team. Like, and that's not a slight to his skills because he's a
Right.
great coach, but there's only really been a handful of men that have been able to tame egos, like the ones that Luca has. And we talked about these men, I think, the last show. Yeah,
Mhm.
ain't no Phil Jacksons around the corner, ain't no Pat
Mm-mm,
Rileys or Red Auerbachs around the
mm-mm.
corner. You know, like it's only been a handful of men that they've been able to effectively do that in their sport.
Pop.
Um, yeah, pop. Yeah, so it's it's again, it's people that really don't understand the dynamics of basketball that want to like bring all of this negative attention towards the coach. When, to your point, nobody was saying anything about Jason Kidd.
Nope.
There's literally no story
Nope.
or no attention given to him whatsoever.
Nope.
It's always been about Luca and Kyrie since the day that Kyrie got there.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it is very unfair and unwarranted for Jason Kidd to even get the attention that they're getting. And
Right.
you know, it's atrocious.
It's like, because if we being real, nobody even expected them to be in the finals. So I think he did a good job just even getting them to the finals.
Yeah.
But not even that was acknowledged. We didn't. They've been kicking ass the whole playoffs. I haven't heard a word about Jason Kidd. So I just find it just crazy that they blame him for what's going on right now. He running the same rotation. Nothing's really changed.
Right. Yep.
Um, Tim Hardaway, there's been a whole bunch of people saying Tim Hardaway should be getting minutes. He got 19 minutes last night, 0 for 5. I think I recorded maybe 3 rebounds. That was like his only stats. I mean, what I
Right.
mean, what do you want from Jason Kidd? Like, nobody's producing at the level that they should be for them to be winning these games. So I don't know. I think niggas just need a scapegoat. You know how that go. That's the LeBron James effect for real.
Yeah, but it's like you got a Kyrie sitting right there if you want a scapegoat. Like he played like not great the first two games.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting right there. Now he went off in game three, but I don't know. I just it boggles my mind how people kind of come up with this reasoning.
Yeah, and like you said, he forced that shot. That was a tough. They showed the replay of it. He fading to the side with a hand in his face. Like, damn, if you hit that shot, like, my goodness. But yeah, Dallas. I think it's over. You think they ended in 4, or you think it goes another game?
Well, it's just like the song says, "Sweep around your own front door." Yeah, this is a sweep. Um, there's there's nothing. I can't in my mind see Dallas coming out with this spirited effort to fight against to hope against hope. Um, and the reason why I can't see that is because of how Luca exited the game last night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this team, Luca's influence on his teammates
Mm-hmm.
dictates the ceiling of their performances. So if Luca is playing great and the offense is humming, that raises the confidence level of all the players on that team.
Right.
When Luca is struggling, um, it has a negative impact on the maximum performance of that team. Now, the exemption of that is Kyrie, because Kyrie is able, he's instant offense. So Kyrie is able to kind of pick up the offense out of a slump when it goes in. So a player of that caliber isn't going to be as impacted by the
Right.
influence of, the team captain. But your role players, they do feed off of that and they are impacted by that more.
Yep.
Um, So I don't see I don't see a path where they're gonna just come out and play like this inspired, get this inspired performance and put 4 quarters together against these Boston Celtics that can smell blood. I think the only way that Dallas wins game 4 is if Tatum and or Brown decide that they want to be heroes.
Go for that
Right.
Finals MVP.
Yeah. Like if they decide that they want to have a signature game in their closeout game, one of them decides that, I think there's a possibility that Dallas can sneak this game and take this back to Boston. But I think that if Jaylen Brown continues to be the Jaylen Brown we've seen in this series, and Jason Tatum just doesn't force shots and doesn't create a lot of turnovers, the Celtics easily win game 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Dallas gets one, man. I'm just having a hard time believing that this team that was just so red hot can't win one game in the finals, man. I'm gonna give them one game. I just like I have a hard time seeing them get as dominant as Boston has been in this series. I just think somehow, some way, I don't know how, but I do think Dallas will win the next game. I mean, like obviously wouldn't be surprised if they lost, but it's just tough. It's just tough, man. A final sweep. When was the last final sweep? I can't even tell you when the last final sweep was.
It probably was the Cavs in what was that?
Yeah, that 17.
Two,
Was it 17?
was it 7?
I gotta look
Were they
that
in the
up.
finals in 17? I know they
Yeah,
got swept by the
by the
Spurs.
by the Warriors, I think. Right? Didn't they get swept one of them times by the Warriors?
They did, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it was Kevin Durant's first year there, I
Yep.
think. Yeah.
It was 2018. They got swept.
2018. Yeah, it was second year because Kevin Durant won the MVP that year.
Yeah, so it's been, and that's rare too. That doesn't happen often. So,
Yeah. Because I think
but
the last time before that was what, 2010. One of those years when LeBron was there, the Cavs, they went to the finals, got swept by the Spurs.
that was his first time in the final. So now that was earlier than that. That was his first time with
Probably
Cleveland. So
2005 or something like that. Somewhere in there.
it's a long time, like 2000.
Yeah.
I want to say 10 or no, 2008 or something like that.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's 6 years ago. The last time somebody got swept, I don't see it happening this year. Not with these two teams. That's crazy, man. You get to the finals, you got to at least win one game. And I think Luca and or Kyrie will have one of those games where they just go off and give them one. But that's gonna be it though.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see.
And Jason Tatum, man, I give Jason Tatum a lot of shit, but I don't think he's played horrible in this year. I think he's played actually pretty well for what he's been asked to do. He hasn't been trying to go off script too much.
Mhm.
He's been kind of just playing his game, even though he's still been missing like the big shots that he's needed to hit. Like last night, he was just choking down the
Mhm.
stretch. It took Jaylen Brown to hit a couple big shots for them to pull the game out after letting go the lead. But for the most part, I think Jason Tatum has played all right. I like Jason Tatum when he drives to the rim. I always stress that about Jason Tatum because I think he takes horrible shots.
Mhm.
His
Yep.
shot selection to me is god awful. So whenever he drives the ball, it's almost like he can't be stopped when he's going to the paint. I don't understand why he doesn't do it as much as he's supposed to. Like that's one of those things in basketball that will always baffle me. The Jason Tatum force three. Like, why are you doing that?
It's almost as bad as the fuck you three that LeBron James likes to do all the time.
Oh my God, man. Like you're so athletic, you're gifted. You have the size, one or two steps, you already in the paint. Like, what is the problem, man? You're a pretty good finisher at the rim. I don't get it, man. It's like he's programmed to just step back. What the hell is it? I don't know, man. It's frustrating. He's a frustrating guy to watch play basketball, but I think he's done a decent job in these finals, though.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent, but you know, he's been passable. And game 3 he went off. Games 1 and 2,
Mhm.
He played okay, not great, not terrible,
Right.
but inconsistent nonetheless. But yeah,
Yeah. They just better not rob Jalen Brown of these finals MVP. I know that.
I certainly hope not. But I don't see how you can select anyone other than him. Like it can't possibly be anyone but him. Even if you're just going off of stat sheet, like his stat sheet looks the best out of everybody in the series.
And
So
that's typically how they pick it too. So
yeah,
hopefully they
so
don't veer off of that too much. Yeah, so that's a wrap. Um, wasn't expecting this short of a series. I was expecting a little bit more entertainment than this. This has been horrible, man. Conference finals and finals, really, like all short series.
yeah, been unexpectedly short. So it's just one of those years, I guess. But yeah.
I want a good finals game 7, man. Like there's nothing like a finals game 7. When we gonna get another one of those, man?
Not this year.
Nope.
Not this year.
Hell no. But yeah, man. Speaking of finals, I
Mhm.
want to get your take on this.
All right.
There's been a debate going on recently, right? I kind of already know where you're gonna go with this. I think I know where you're gonna go with this, but Rasheed Wallace has been on podcasts recently saying how they would smoke the KD Steph Curry Warriors in the series. It's been a back and forth. You know, then Draymond Green, of course, he goes on his podcast and talks his shit and saying the Pistons had no chance. Like y'all were scoring 70 points in games. Like, what are we talking about? Like, y'all would have had no chance. So I know you would have an interesting take on this. Who do you feel would have the upper hand in that series?
Now, which Warriors team is he referencing?
I guess the 2017 team with KD, Curry, Green, Clay. Who else is on that team? Um,
Yeah, that
who else is on the
I
17?
can't I can't sit here and definitively say other than the 96 Bulls. I can't sit here and say with any confidence that there's any team that beats that 2017 Warrior squad. Like that, I think that people just don't understand
Man,
just how we're talking about like 80s Lakers stacked in terms of just what that team had.
firepower, man.
Just so like you got Kevin Durant, who's completely unstoppable. Steph Curry, completely unstoppable. Klay Thompson, who's one of the hottest hands in the league at the time. Draymond anchoring the offense on the defensive end with the post presence that we talked about, and then all of the other pieces that were around them for that team. There's, you know, the '96 Bulls. I always saw like Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. They're like Batman. It's like just thing, and they could beat anybody. Like nobody beats the '96 Bulls.
hmm
But if the team that's gonna push them to a game 7 is that 2017 Warrior squad. Just the shooting, ridiculous. Now, it would be an intriguing series to me to watch because of the clash of styles, right? Like I
Yeah,
said,
right.
styles make matches, and being able to kind of see that half court offense stifling, interior defense, how they would have to play around, how the Warriors would manage that, and then how they're able to kind of overcome the Warriors' excellent defense, particularly on the perimeter.
hmm
Um, that war gets won and lost in the paint, right? If you're Detroit. So yeah, Rasheed's delusional. Um, it's like, first of all, why are we even talking about this? And this goes back to something we've been talking about the last couple weeks,
hmm
where there's all of this dialogue about teams that's in Cancun right now. Like, why are we talking about this team? Like they didn't even make the playoffs, right? Like, why are we discussing all of these teams that are not relevant, during this time? Um, so to me, that's just another one of those delusional retired NBA players that just saying stuff for sound bites. And I love Sheed, but he dead wrong for that.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that lately. Like these old heads, they need to take the mics away from all these old heads on these podcasts because they've been going crazy. I
Yeah,
just thought that was like an interesting topic because he was so convinced. And Rip Hamilton, of course, he chimed in and was like, we had bigs that could guard wings. So, we're a matchup problem. And I'm like, man, I don't know if y'all can generate enough offense to beat this team because
right,
you're not. I don't care how good the defense is, man. They're gonna score. You're not gonna shut down Steph
right,
Curry and Kevin Durant. You're not gonna stop them from scoring. It's
right,
just not gonna happen. So
right.
I do think the Pistons they would probably get one game for sure though. I don't think they'd get swept. But
Yeah,
that's a tough ask, man. When that like you said, man, there's no team. They showed it. I mean, it looked like it wasn't even fair. Like the years that they were healthy, that is.
yeah,
The 2019 team, they would have won again. If
yeah,
Kevin Durant doesn't get hurt in the finals and Klay
right,
Thompson, even when Klay Thompson was playing, it was just him and Steph playing, they probably still would have won.
yeah. I think so. We've kind of had some criticism for Kevin Durant on this show, but Kevin Durant is gonna just shoot over everybody in that team, right? With this, you could say Tayshaun
I'm about to say Tayshaun Prince with
probably
the
had the
line.
length to mess with him a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but Tayshaun can't guard everybody.
Nope.
If you put Tayshaun on KD, who's on Clay?
Rip.
Right? Rip
I
on
guess
Clay.
Rip got good defense though. That's their
He got good
UConn defense.
defense. He's a great defender, but there's a bit of a height difference there. You know what I'm
Rip
saying?
about 6'5", about 2 inches, about 2 inch difference.
Yeah.
He
So
about 6'5", 6'6".
so that's I don't. Rip is a great player, but that's
Now
going to be tough. And
the
then you
problem
got
is Chauncey.
Billups and Chauncey on
He's not
Steph.
gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna work. And Chauncey he's like a physical defender.
Right.
You're not gonna body up Steph. Steph Curry do too much movement off the ball. Like he gonna have Chauncey fucking worn out by the end of the first quarter. Like
Yeah. And Steph is. I think when people don't they see Steph, they just think he's just this skinny guard that's running around.
yeah, he's not that.
Steph, I think he can deadlift like 900, some obscene number,
Yeah,
right?
he's
Like his
strong as hell.
his core strength is ridiculous. He's like an oak tree. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah, I think yeah, so I don't know. That's just delusional men talking on the internet.
They talk about Ben Wallace. He gonna be enforcing shit, and it was just heavy talk. It was heavy talk, man. It was real heavy talk.
I just would love to see what they would do if they decided to spread out the offense and having Draymond play on the perimeter. What the hell is Ben gonna do now? Like you just gonna play off of Draymond Green on the perimeter? You sure? Is that a good
He,
idea?
he might. He might. I take my. I take my chances with that. Then
Man, Draymond gonna hit so many of them ugly ass threes on Ben Wallace. Like, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good.
Draymond was talking shit. I was like, man, I have to agree with Draymond, man.
Yeah,
I, I
I don't like agreeing with him, but sometimes he's right. So
yeah. So yeah, that's that. Warriors 4-1 for me, man.
yeah, for sure. Same.
And on to the next. Dan Hurley
Hmm.
made me so proud, man.
Yeah.
The three-peat is alive. He will be returning back to Connecticut where he belongs, man. The king, man. You can't leave the kingdom, man. You built this shit. I mean, you didn't build it, but you've furthered what we've done traditionally at UConn, and you are the current king, man. Like you can't leave that. You got your recruits coming in, all that, man. All the guys that you signed there to play for you specifically, couldn't let them down. And And I don't think that people view this Lakers job as such a dream job anymore, like how it used to be viewed. It's a
Mhm,
lot of chaos over there. Ownership is in flux. Jeannie Buss kind of just be doing whatever at this point.
mhm.
It's just not as appeasing as it once was, it would seem now. So I think Dan Hurley didn't want to have to deal with the all the headache, man, all the media, and you lose a few games here and there, everything gets blown out of proportion. There's uncertainty with the roster. They don't know if LeBron will be back. It's just a lot of things that's up in the air to not
Mhm.
go back to the sure thing at UConn. So made me so proud, man. That's all I gotta say. It made me so proud.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad to see that decision. We talked about this on Facebook. Um, it would have been a terrible fit. Dan Hurley is that. The closest thing I think we have to Dan Hurley NBA is like a Tom Thibodeau, like this very strict disciplinarian. It's my way or the highway, getting players to adopt into a set system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Tibbs has had some success in the NBA. He's also had to lose a few jobs because of his style, has cost him a few jobs. I think that New York could be a long-term destination for him, but there's not really a whole lot of places in this NBA where a coach like that can really be successful. Just because the players are just completely taking over the league, right? Like, who the hell
Mm-hmm.
is going to coach somebody like Luka Doncic, right? That's
Right.
not. So I was very happy to see him stay in college because I think that that is the level of play that suits his style the best.
Right.
Now I know that they said I think he signed a 6 year. I think he signed like a 6 year extension a couple years ago for like 30 million, and I think he's set to make a little bit more.
Got some more money from it. Yep.
Yeah, I think they're set to, like, I guess, renew and give him a new extension,
Mm-hmm.
6 years for 50, which I think the Lakers deal was 7 years for 110 or something like that.
I heard it was 70. I don't know where I heard that from. I heard
70,
it
yeah,
was
I don't remember the top number, but you know, I heard Dave Chappelle talk about this on David Letterman when he was talking about when he walked away from the 50 million in Comedy
70.
Central.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, well, let's say my net worth's 10 million. I go to a restaurant, a high-end restaurant with my wife, and I'm sitting on one table over somebody whose net worth is 40 million. He's like, well, look, I have we're eating the same meal that he's eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, so, but then he made a joke. It's like the only difference between 10 million and 40 million is an astounding $30 million. So I think that the threshold for people like us that we have to work hard for the money, so you better treat us right. Um Missing out on, let's call it $25 million. Let's call it in the middle.
Right.
Taking a job for $25 million less seems crazy just when you look at the numbers. But I don't think that people earning $50 million on a job are any less happy than people who are making 75 million
Right.
just on the fact that they're making 75.
Right. Right. Yep.
Because I mean, how much money is enough for you to feel like you're satisfied with where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you've seen some coaches whose egos are so massive that they make the jump to the league, I guess, to prove something to themselves that they can do it. You see this in other sports like, Saban and a couple other guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that he decided to stay and continue beating the shit out of everybody in college, because that's what he's
Me
been
too.
doing. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's the right decision. I'm glad that he's going to remain in college. I think that's the best fit for him. Um, shout out to the Lakers for shooting their shot. I'm glad that Dan avoided the trap, because that's a trap job for sure.
Man,
So
that carousel they had going on for the last few years, crazy.
yeah, that's a meat grinder. So hey, good luck to whoever goes into that slot next.
Yeah, I think when you talk about like in terms of like the money and stuff like that, I would gladly take even if it was 20 million less to be in a more comfortable situation. I don't think people look at that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like my family may be here. I love this area. I love this particular job. That would feel way better to me taking 20 million less and not having to fly all the way across the country, uh, adapt to a whole new culture,
Hmm.
play style. The NBA is just like it's light years. It's a light years difference between the NBA and college.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of change in a short period of time. That happened so fast. It was like
Yeah.
one day we woke up and we just heard Dan Hurley is a candidate for the Lakers job. Like, well, where the hell did that come from?
Right. Yeah.
So going from Connecticut to LA in itself is just that sounds crazy. That's a big lifestyle change in itself. So
Hmm.
people don't take all that stuff into account. They just look at the money and say, "Oh, he should have took this," but there's a lot more that goes into it than that, especially when you already have money and you have the ability to make more money. So,
Yeah. And LA is you don't that's not a place that you can live. Live there more than a couple years, it changes you. Like
mhm,
that's a weird place, man. Like just Hollywood, just the delusion
man,
and
I went. I was when I was there, I felt it.
yeah, like I've had to go there for work on multiple occasions, a few jobs ago. And like it's a beautiful place. Like especially you get down into Orange County. I
Mhm,
always tell people Orange County is like Miami with hills. That's like that what the scenery looks like. It's a beautiful place. But then it's just, oh my God, the opulence and just everything is so over the top there. And
yep,
everybody's stunting in
yep.
Lamborghinis and bro, like it just makes you feel poor when you go, like, damn,
Mhm.
like I'm in this Jeep rental and I feel like a piece of shit driving down the street. Like, damn,
Everybody's important.
it's like Model X's everywhere. Like, yeah. Anyway, but not that Hurley would be impacted by any of that, but
Right.
that's just the culture shift of LA. That's just a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yep. That's the stuff people don't think about, man. It's like, who said this man wanted to pick his family up and move him to LA? Like, that's a big change,
Yeah.
putting the money to the side. So I don't know, but maybe it's just me. And like you said, I guess people look at it from their perspective. We don't have all this money, so they like shit. The more millions I could get, the better. In the
Right.
average person's mind.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. I'm just glad he's back so we could get this three-peat started. We got a shot at it, a legitimate shot at it. We probably be a preseason top 3, hopefully. Yeah, back to Connecticut, man. Let's do this shit again, man. One more thing before we go.
All right.
Just last week they were calling Luka Doncic Larry Bird. He was better than Larry Bird last week.
Mm.
I just wanted to get your insight on that. That's all. That's all.
I mean, what a difference a week makes, right? Um,
Larry Legend though.
yeah,
Like Larry Legend.
yeah, Larry Legend. Yeah. What a difference a week makes. Um, that's yeah, that it just again, this is people who don't watch basketball.
I'm just trying to bait you into going in on Luca
I
because I don't.
just like, so Luca, I said that I would refer to him as Mr. Doncic after that step back that he hit on Rudy Gobert.
Oh, he lost it. He lost the title.
No, he's still Mr. Doncic. He's still the man. Um, but I think that why can't we just let players be them? Why can't Luca just be the first Luca? Why does he have to be the next Larry? Why does Anthony Edwards have to be the next Michael Jordan? Why can't he just be the first Anthony Edwards? We're always trying to find these comparisons to boost up players. Um, this storyline has really been about the Celtics pushing everybody's shit in. That's what this playoffs has been about, and that leads me to the joke that I was going to say earlier. I read something on the internet that said that the reason why Jerry West died is that he
I
decided
saw
he'd
it.
rather die than have Boston win another championship. And I'm like, damn, that's kind
Yeah,
of cold.
I
But
saw
it was almost like that scene from the Second Coming to America where Joffrey just decided to die.
it.
Like,
Yeah,
damn, Jerry did some Joffrey stuff in here.
yeah. I posted that earlier. I found that shit hella funny. That was hilarious.
Dude, I'm so funny. I'm like, I could just see Jerry now, like, he's in the bed and it's like, what's the score? And they tell him the score. It's like, fuck this shit. I'm,
Time to
I'm,
go.
I'm coming to see you, St. Peter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
crazy. It's so fitting, like Boston about to win the championship, and then all of a sudden, out of
yeah,
nowhere, Jerry West dies. It's like, what?
yeah,
That's
that's
crazy. But yeah, I just want y'all. I said all that, but about Luca and Larry Bird to say pretty much the same thing Ben just said. Like y'all got to stop with the asinine comparisons.
mhm,
It's over the top. Like, let these guys prove themselves. I've said this shit so many times, man. Let these guys prove themselves first, man, before we jump off the ledge and this guy is this guy or he better than this guy that's accomplished 4 titles, 5 titles. It's like y'all comparing people that have done nothing in the league to people who are legends. Like they
right.
put in a crazy amount of work and earned their titles, earned their stripes.
Yep.
Let these guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just it's out of hand. Like I already know how I feel about Anthony Edwards and Michael. Like that shit is come on, man. You comparing this nigga to Michael Jordan.
Right.
What
Yeah.
the hell are we talking about? You know how many people he got to get past to even get to fuck Michael Jordan. You
Right.
got to go
Right.
through a lot of people to even get to that name.
You're not even Carmelo yet. How you
No.
gonna jump all the way to MJ? There's levels to this.
Yeah, like Paul George and them put in more work than you.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about? Come on, man. But yeah, I hate it, man. I can't stand it. Like that microwave era of the NBA and sports in general that we living in. I can't
Mhm.
stand it. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much all I had to say about that, man. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap it up? Pause.
No, that's it, man.
Yo, touch on and wrap it up was crazy.
Well, yeah, bro. Everything can't be touched on. Like these sayings existed like way before. Um. So,
Oh.
but yeah. No, I don't know if we're gonna have a show next week because we might have anything to talk about. But
we could potentially come up with something. Yeah, the finals is definitely gonna be over. So yeah,
yeah,
that's done. I mean, I guess we could talk about that, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
yeah,
We'll definitely figure that out, and that's it. That's pretty much the show for the night, man. As always, like, share, subscribe, tap in. We're gonna be coming up with more content soon here. As soon as I've been in album mode too, so I've been recording at the same. That's why my brain is just kind of all over the place. But
yeah,
bear with me. As always, Ben, it was fun, man.
yeah. Good show, man.
Yes, sir. Like, share, subscribe. Fly Free Sports, and we out.